Hello everybody. I was going to film this video earlier today after I did some errands, but instead I ended up doing a different errand, which involved buying a new battery for my car. So for the past 2 or 3 hours, what time is it? Yeah, almost 3 hours. I've been trying to get my car to start, and then my brother came and tried to jumpstart my car, which did not work. And then we got a new battery, installed that one, and then I drove around for a while, and luckily my car is back to normal. But it's very hot out, so I'm here with my fresh out of the fridge orange juice and a fan blowing next to me. So now we can get started with the June wrap-up. The first book I read in June, I actually started on Memorial Day in May during a not very long road trip, a couple hours. Then I finished it a couple days later, and that is A Land More Kind Than Home by Wiley Cash. This one has been going around a lot lately in some of my local reading circles, so I decided to pick it up. And it's not normally the kind of thing that I would pick up on my own, but I did enjoy it. And it's set in the South, and it follows a few different characters who are all tied to this church that is very, very cultish, basically. And it's kind of told from a few different perspectives, and then those perspectives kind of go through flashbacks as well, but it's not too confusing, and I think it's done really well, and the flashbacks really add important context to what's going on and how those individual characters view what's going on. I rated this one 4 stars. The next book that I read is Round Midnight by Laura McBride. And this is the second book of hers that I've read. The first one was a couple years ago, and that was called We Are Called to Rise, which I really enjoyed. And I came across this author because one of my friends is a distant family member. So I've never met the author myself, but I do really enjoy her writing, and I definitely jumped on this one as soon as possible from my library. The author is based in Las Vegas, and her books are also based in Las Vegas, but they're not the typical Las Vegas showy showgirls casino kind of thing, although Round Midnight is based on a casino and some of the lives that are connected to some of the characters at the casino. But it's so deep and heart-wrenching and complex, and just a really beautiful story, and it made me cry a bit at the end, which is a lot for me. So it was definitely a good book, and I rated it 4 stars. The next book that I finished was one I started back in April, and that is Ceremony by Leslie Marmon Silko. And Silko is a Native American author, and one of the first that I want to read to become more familiar with Native American literature. And Ceremony follows the character Teo, who is a war veteran, and his journey on dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. And I ended up rating this book 3 stars because there were some parts that I did enjoy and some lines that were really beautiful, and I enjoyed the pairing of poetry with prose to tell the story, but the storyline is really disconnected, and suddenly you'll be in a totally different scene with different characters, but you're not sure how it's connected, or sometimes you're not even sure who the character is because they're not named, and it just jumps all over the place and is really hard to keep up with. And then the second half I did find a lot easier because it stops jumping around so much and kind of starts drawing together. So I am glad that I read it, but I definitely wouldn't say that I liked it. After that, the last book that I finished in June was The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And this is basically a self-help book, and it's not really a genre that I read very much of, but Susie Reed on her Instagram account was talking about this book, and for whatever reason, I really can't remember now, it sounded interesting and I wanted to check it out, and I had to wait a long time at the library for it, but it eventually came in. And basically it's a morning routine that takes an hour and has you waking up an hour earlier than you normally would in order to fit in all of this life improving stuff, such as meditation, affirmations, reading and exercise, writing, and visualization. And it has a little acronym for it, but you can kind of customize the time lengths and make it work for whatever you want to improve on. And I have been doing the Miracle Morning for maybe a few weeks now, and I kind of like it. The book itself I didn't really enjoy that much because it has a ton of spelling and grammar errors. You can tell by the time you're even done reading the introduction that it's a self-published book and has a very poor editing job, even though there are editors listed. And the tone that he takes is very like motivational speech. You can just see him up on a stage talking to you and making his points and being very motivational. Create the life you want today. Like the whole book just sounds like that. So it was not quite to my taste, but I like the idea of being productive in the morning and incorporating 20 minutes of exercise, which I really haven't been doing most of my life, but now I have been every day, so I like that I'm being a more successful adult. I have made progress on the big book that I am reading, which is The Brontes by Juliet Barker, and it was a very slow start because it was very boring and not even about the Brontes. It was about their father Patrick, so I skimmed through a lot of that, and now I'm getting to the more good stuff where it's actually talking about the Brontes, and I'm finding it a lot more interesting, which means that it's going a lot slower now, but I'm about 20% done, and I can tell that it's going to take a while. I am reading a few other books, so if you want to see what I'm reading, you can head over to my Goodreads account, which is heyheybooks, and you can add me as a friend on there and see my progress. If you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts, and I hope that you had a good June reading month as well. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!